like to say how very pleased we are to come from INAT, to represent INAT at this, I think, the first workshop on accessible tourism in Jeddah, certainly, and probably in Saudi Arabia. My name is Ivor Ambrose. I'm the Managing Director of INAT, the European Network for Accessible Tourism. And you'll be meeting later two of my colleagues. They are Rania Sabaneh, she's Jordanian, and Katerina Papamikhail, she's Greek. And if my accent is still a giveaway, I'm actually English, although I'm living in Greece too. So the three of us are coming from Athens, and we are running the INAT Secretariat and consulting from Athens, but the organization is based in Brussels. Now, we'll tell you a bit more about the organization itself first of all, but I will, since we are still waiting for some people to arrive, I will indulge myself a little bit by telling you something about my background and how I come to be working in tourism. As I said, I'm from England, and my training is not in tourism or in business at all, but in psychology. I trained as a psychologist at the University of Coventry and University of Surrey in England, way back in the last century. And I was specialized in environmental psychology, which was a subject, or is a subject, to do with the relationship between people and the places where they live and work, play, and entertain themselves and each other. In other words, how people and their environments react with each other. And I've, in the course of my work, I've been working as a building research investigator, researcher at the Danish Building Research Institute, where we studied housing design, housing for disabled people, housing for elderly, and indoor climate. And following that, I got very interested in information technology and how you can use technology to assist people in having a more safe, comfortable, and altogether accessible life in the buildings that we live in and use. So from this varied background, I found a focus on tourism, of course, when I moved to Greece, because Greece, as you will know, is a country that's famous for its tourism, for its sunshine, which you also have here, your beaches, which you also have here, and of course its long history, which you also have here. But I think the Greeks are very well known also because of their warm hospitality, and of course I've also met that warm hospitality here. So I'm not saying Greece is exactly the same as Saudi Arabia, but of course I'm enjoying living in the southern part of Europe as I'm now enjoying being in Saudi Arabia. So this introduction just to tell you that from my background, I'm looking at tourism from the perspective very much of the visitor, but also how we can, as businesses, cater for the visitor to make the visitor's concerns and interests and priorities our concerns. I've moved across to the business field since I worked at the European Commission for 3 years, around 2000, when we were looking at projects and programs to stimulate the uptake of information and communication technologies. And it's this angle on the tourism sector, the use of technology, the use of websites, the use of marketing through the internet and so on, that I think have really driven the tourism industry the last 10 years. And this is something that is going to get even stronger, and we have to take care that also our technologies are accessible to people who need need to find out about where to go and what to do on their holidays. Now, I don't want to move too far into my speech, but I think we can start to roll the slides a little bit here. I hope the translator is following me. but I'm speaking without a text at the moment, so I may be rambling a little bit. Yes, Mr. Saad. A little bit slowly. I'm giving him a hard time, sorry. Okay. Right. I'll take some pauses for thought then. Thank you. Right. So, I'm going to say a few words of introduction. We've changed the program around a little bit, but we hope it won't be confusing for too many of you. Now, the European network that I represent, you'll hear more about it from my colleague Rania Sabanek shortly. But I'll start with the top-down description of what we're doing. The European network has been around for 4 years or so, and we've made collaboration agreements with the United Nations World Tourism Organization and ourselves and the ONCE Foundation in Spain, because there is a lot of interest in accessible tourism around the world from the member states of the UNWTO. And they came to us and said they would like to have some programs and some information and prepare some publications to publicize what this subject is all about. So the information that you're getting today is part of that package that we will be revising and sending forward to the United Nations to deliver to the World Tourism Organization. We've created a collaboration agreement that I'd like to tell you about. This is a global initiative for accessible tourism promotion and development. And with the UNWTO, we will be preparing and delivering 4 projects over the next 4 years. So the first project that we're dealing with is to update the UNWTO 2005 resolution on accessible tourism for all. The UNWTO was aware of the issue of accessibility, enabling people with disabilities to participate in tourism, as it says on the banner here behind us, that we're concerned about enabling people with disabilities to exercise their rights to participate in tourism. And this resolution that was passed in 2005 is now being updated to take into account the 2007 Convention on the Rights, the UN Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. There are some additional objectives and requirements in the UNWTO, in the UN Convention on Rights of People with Disabilities, 2007, directly concerning leisure, sport and tourism. That's Article 30. And this update will be delivered in about 2 months' time to the UNWTO Ethics Committee, and we expect them to then pass this resolution and promote it at the global level. So we will assist them with that. Secondly, the UNWTO has asked us to develop a manual on accessible tourism standards and indicators, and to compile good practices in accessible tourism from around the world. So we are actively seeking for examples of good practice in accessible tourism around the world. And these will be put together in 2 volumes, 2 books. They'll be published in Spanish and in English, and we hope we will also be able to work on publishing these in Arabic as well, which is one of the UN languages, and possibly also the Russian and French. The third project that we're developing with them is to write a business case for accessible tourism. And we are preparing the terms of reference for this now, but the terms of reference are actually very much framed by the method which has been developed by Harvard Business School for describing business cases in specific sectors of industry. So this will be work which is done not directly by ENAT ourselves, but by a university or business school which will probably volunteer to come forward to do this work. There are quite a few of these schools, quite many, I should say, who are capable of doing this work, and it's something of a work of prestige for them to take part and to deliver a product like that to the UNWTO. And fourthly, but by no means least, we will help the UNWTO to establish internships for disabled trainees who are working in tourism management, so that they can go to work at the UNWTO in Madrid, in Spain, and support, and then through this learning exercise we hope to be able to support other job placements for disabled people in the tourism industry. And this reflects to a certain degree the activity of the third partner, which I didn't elaborate for you, actually, the ONCE Foundation in Spain. They are very much involved in integration of disabled people in the workplace and in society in general. So they provide assistive technologies, and they also do they develop training programs, and they help employers to integrate disabled people in the workforce. Now, the secret also behind their success, one of the secrets behind their success, is that they have worked in this way for many years, since 1930s. So they have a very long history of success behind them, and that is why they are a third partner in the partnership. But their organization is also has the vice presidency of INAT, and the vice president is today in Riyadh. His name is Mr. Jesus Hernandez, and he will be participating in the Saudi tourism, travel and tourism investment market at a seminar tomorrow. So that was a little bit, as I said, top down, looking at how far we have reached up at a global level, and I think it's important to emphasize this, because it shows that there is a lot of attention being paid to accessible tourism at the global level. It's not just a local phenomenon in Europe or in one or two countries, but it's spreading around the world and proving very interesting. Now, I've put a slide up here on a Middle East and North African initiative. Not only a global one, but an initiative for collaboration which we are preparing now between the Arab Tourism Organization and INAT. And this is something that we are very proud and pleased to announce at this meeting. It's an informal announcement because nothing has been signed yet, but we are working on a draft document which will follow in the wake of the UNWTO agreement, and we will work to try to implement the projects of the UNWTO and to develop new projects with the Arab Tourism Organization. And of course, this is to focus on the 22 member states of the Arab Tourism Organization, which is based here, of course, through the kindness of the host country, Saudi Arabia. I'm just throwing up on the slide for you some of the ideas that we have put together for this cooperation. Okay, and this is to do with the development of our cooperation in Middle East and North Africa. So with that, I've come to the end of my short introduction about the institutional status of INAT vis-à-vis some of the other very important institutions in tourism management and tourism authorities around the world. So that's my next slide to come later. So I will now hand over to Rania. Sorry, is it Rania now? Yes?
No, we will
you are the chairman, sir, so I will close down here.
Thank you.
And then you can take it from there. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله